You know, that idea of making six figures from a self-published book, for a lot of people, it feels like a total pipe dream. But what if it's not? What if it's actually a blueprint you can follow? Well, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to distill all the expert advice and real-world success stories into an actual actionable plan.
Imagine someone saying this to you. Just imagine. 3 years ago, YouTuber Jill Barup would have laughed out loud. But here's the thing about this quote. It's not just a nice thought. It's basically a spoiler for what really happened. It perfectly captures the kind of life-changing potential we're talking about.
And here it is. This is the proof. This number, this is Jill Barup's actual profit in her very first year. I mean, that's more than 135,000 US dollars. This is a real number from a real person. And just goes to show you, the six-figure author dream, it is absolutely achievable if you have the right strategy.
All right, so how do we actually do this? Here's the game plan. We're going to start with that dream, and then we're going to dive deep into the 4 pillars of success: finding your idea, creation and publishing, marketing and sales, and maybe the most important one, the author's mindset.
So Jill Barup's story is just wild. It all started with this funny YouTube short about a fantasy heroine that just blew up, and it turned into this whole 50-episode series. Pretty soon, her audience was literally demanding she write a book. She had zero plans to do it, but she listened. And that single decision, well, that decision led directly to that six-figure payday and paying off her mortgage. It's such a powerful lesson, right? Success starts when you listen to the audience you already have.
Okay, that brings us to our first pillar, finding your idea. This is everything. This is the foundation. You know, the single biggest mistake people make is they write a book in a total vacuum, just hoping that an audience is going to magically show up. But here's the truth. Successful books are almost never an accident. They are built on a rock-solid foundation of demand.
So this really boils down to 2 main schools of thought for finding that great idea. On one side, you've got the audience-first approach. That's the Jill Barup method, right? Build a community, listen to what they're struggling with, and then make the exact book they're asking for. Then, on the other side, you've got the market-first approach. This is where you go straight to a place like Amazon, you look for what's already selling, a low bestsellers rank, or BSR, basically means a book is selling like hotcakes, and then your job is to create a better version for that already proven market. Both of these paths work. Why? Because they both start with what people want, not just what you're passionate about.
All right, so you've got your killer idea. You validated it. Now what? Well, that's pillar 2, creation and publishing. This is where we get our hands dirty and turn that awesome concept into a real product that people can actually buy.
Look, as an author today, you have this incredible toolkit at your disposal. It doesn't have to take years to write a book anymore. You've got strategies like the 24-hour ebook method for super focused work, or AI tools that can spit out outlines in seconds. But speed can't sacrifice quality. A professional cover and good editing, totally non-negotiable. But after that, the most important decision you're going to make is how you're going to sell it. And that really boils down to 2 main paths you can take. You've got Amazon KDP, which is kind of the default for most people. You upload your book, and boom, you're in the biggest bookstore in the world. They handle all the logistics, but they take a cut. But then there's the direct sales funnel. This is where you build your own sales page. You've probably seen these, right? A free plus shipping offer that leads to other products. The key here is you control everything, and you keep a much bigger piece of the profit.
Okay, so how much bigger are we talking? Is it really worth the extra effort? Check this out. One author who made the switch from Amazon's regular royalties over to her own direct sales funnel, she saw her average earnings per customer go up by 448%. No, that is not a typo. 448%. Just by controlling the sale and adding some smart upsells, she completely transformed her business. That's the power of owning your platform. Okay, your book is written, it's published, it's live. Now we got to sell it. Welcome to pillar 3, marketing and sales. But here's where we need to totally reframe what we think marketing is. It is not about some huge, flashy launch week. Real long-term success is about building slow, sustained noise. The folks at StoryGrid have this concept, and honestly, it's a total game changer. They call it the 2-year launch window. Think about that. Most books need time to find their people. They don't just explode overnight. So your launch isn't a 1-week sprint to try and hit some bestseller list. It's a 2-year marathon of consistently getting your book in front of the right people.
And here's exactly why that marathon mindset is so critical. As StoryGrid points out, a lot of those bestseller lists are just focused on 1 week of sales. You can game the system, but what happens is you have this huge week and then
you fall off a cliff. The real goal, the only goal, should be creating something with staying power that sells for years and years. So what does this all mean for you? What's the actual strategy? Forget all those complicated 100-item marketing checklists. It really just comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. Your job is to be a matchmaker. That's it. Find the specific group of people you know will get massive value from your book, and then just focus all your energy on getting it into their hands. Everything else is just noise.
And that leads us perfectly into our final pillar, which honestly might be the most important one of all, the author's mindset. Because beyond all the tactics and strategies, there's this internal engine, this intangible thing that drives every successful author. It's the secret sauce that separates the people who make it from the ones who quit.
First and foremost, it's belief. The founder of StoryGrid, after working with tons of best-selling authors, said the single thread connecting all of them was this. They had this deep, unwavering conviction that their book would genuinely make the reader's life better. If you don't have that core belief, you're going to hesitate every time you have to ask for the sale. You have to believe in the value you're offering 100%.
Okay, next up is generosity. And I love how author Allison K. Williams puts it. She calls it her one weird trick to a six-figure career. Don't be afraid to give away your best stuff. Share your knowledge freely. When you do that, you build incredible trust, you show people you know what you're talking about, and you make them eager to pay you for the full, structured solution, which is your book.
And the last piece of the mindset puzzle? It's just consistency. As author Inez Johnson says, this isn't about being the fastest. It's about showing up reliably for your readers. Whether you put out 1 book a year or 4 books a year, your audience learns to count on you. And that consistency is what builds a truly loyal following over the long haul.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. The blueprint is pretty clear, right? You start with an idea that you know people want, you create it efficiently, but you don't skimp on quality, and you choose really strategically where you're going to sell it. Then you market it like a marathon, not a sprint. And you do it all with a powerful mindset of belief, generosity, and consistency.
So there you have it. That's the framework, the blueprint, built from people who have actually done this, who have turned this process into a 6-figure reality. The path is there. So the only real question left is the one right here. You have the blueprint. What problem will your book solve first?